guys, how you doing? So, before we jump in with today's topic, I want to talk about something today that came up as a result of one of my Facebook posts, which also became a blog post. And so I'll make sure I link to that and we'll talk a little bit about both. But what I found out is that people aren't really, like I say, there's some confusion, need some clarification on the difference between getting in Google and getting found in Google. And so we're going to jump really deep into that. Before I get into that, I want to let you guys know about a couple of upcoming classes we have and the place to find all of the upcoming classes and events that we are going to be having throughout the year. Getting very intentional this year. We're going to be doing less one-on-one work, a lot more classes for different levels of where you are in your online presence right now, where you are in your business right now, and where you are in your SEO right now. I realize I have people who are just getting started and aren't really sure. I have people who kind of know but don't know what to do. And then I have people that got it but need some help, right? And so I want to make sure we've got programs and classes, and of course, SEO Assist, our software, to help you along every step of the journey. So, the classes that we have coming up just this month in March, if you head on over to girlgetvisible.com/classes, then you'll see the registration information. The class we have coming up is for my beginners who aren't even really online yet, or maybe you have a business and never did a website, or maybe you've been thinking about ways to be online. You're seeing all these content creators out here and you're like, I want to get into this world of doing some of this stuff, whether you're full-time or part-time, just getting into it. You want to join our next BAM session, and BAM is build and monetize your website. So I'm going to be doing a couple of these throughout the year and on different platforms. So we're doing BAM this time, building a website on WordPress. Maybe you just want to start blogging and monetizing that blog, which is why we call it BAM, because we're not just going to talk about building the website. We're also going to talk about how to monetize the website. Some of you guys know my story. When I first started out with my website, it was not about, I didn't have any products at the time, right? I started out first just doing regular just websites, right? And then the one website that kind of catapulted us to here where we are was our online boutique store site, which was really designed to be a blog for my web design clients to read. So I wasn't even using it as a way to bring in more web design clients. It's really for them to learn to market. But in that, I started learning about affiliate marketing and started getting into a content marketing and getting into other ways to monetize, even if it's not with like you already got a product. So this is good if you want to get into something like that. Affiliate marketing, we're going to talk about small digital products, because again, you don't have to start with things small, see how your audience likes it, that kind of thing. We're going to talk about how to grab that audience, how to use SEO and stuff like that. Not as in detail as SEO in a weekend, but because you're starting a fresh site, we're going to start out the right way, right? This is going to be a lot less to fix if you start out with a BAM session. We're also going to be talking about how to sell your own products and services. So this is really good if you have like a coaching service or something like a one-on-one service or a smaller group coaching kind of situation, something like that. That's what this class is going to be really good for. Or even if you have like a physical location business. I have contractors that have a BAM setup, right? I have artists who have a BAM setup, right? So this is going to be really good for that. So that class starts as a 4-week class. It's going to be once a week in the evenings, and that class starts on March 6th. So all of that will be at girlgetvisible.com/classes. And so if you're looking for ways to start, like I said, really learn this stuff, do this stuff, incorporate this stuff, all of the classes come with a free trial for SEO Assist. So you'll be learning how to incorporate using productivity tools with the work that you're doing. And of course, if you ever just want an SEO Assist demo, so you can just jump in, even if you don't take a class, we've got that too. Just head on over to girlgetvisible.com/classes and you'll be able to sign up for any of those. So let me get into today's episode. Backstory, because there always is one with me. You guys know. Backstory. A Facebook post the other day, probably 3-4 days ago now, that was piggybacking off of a comment, right? I saw a comment essentially was saying that old Facebook posts help your Google SEO, right? And I never do the whole back and forth, especially on somebody else's post to somebody else's comment. Like that's real. Don't do that, right? So I went and made a post really just saying, hey, you know, Some of this is not true. A lot of it's not true, but some of it's not exactly true. While things show up in Google, that doesn't mean they're going to show up for what somebody's searching for, and doesn't mean they're going to get the results that you are looking for. And so, after a lot of comments and questions, things like that, I realized that there was a gap in what the understanding is about getting in Google versus getting found in Google. And I know even when I see people, even when people pitch me, believe it or not, people pitch me very often for SEO services. Like they literally don't read my site and just send me cold emails. But when I see a lot of people pitching about SEO and talking about SEO, I see a lot of getting you in Google and not necessarily the what I think should be the real goal and the real result, which is getting you found in Google. And so I said, let me do a whole episode on this so you're an informed consumer. I'm all about informing my audience. I even said I'm thinking like I'm here to help y'all, right? I'm all about informing my audience. And on that, I talk about a couple of other things that don't necessarily help you with the getting found part. I'm not going to go into that as much in this episode, but you guys can go and read the blog post that resulted from this whole post, right? You guys can go backtrack all that. But I do want to talk about, again, that whole your goal and your purpose of doing SEO, because that's really what it boils down to. So a lot of people talk about how SEO helps you get traffic, right? Even myself, I talk about SEO helps you get traffic. A lot of people will talk about how SEO helps you get in Google. Some people like me say get found in Google, but getting Google and all of these kind of terms that we throw around, ranking, indexing, all of this other stuff. So I'm going to break that down in this episode and really what's important to you. So as a business owner or a soon to be business owner or a content creator, as my audience who not just wants to be in Google, you really want to get results from the work that you have in Google. Your goal is to get found, right? Getting found means when someone searches for something that's not you, like it's so easy for me to get found for Akilah Thompkins-Robinson because I am Akilah Thompkins-Robinson. It's so easy for me to get found for Girl Get Visible because I am Girl Get Visible. So if someone already knows your name or knows your company name enough for them to put that name in, that's not necessarily what you want or what your purpose for good SEO is. I'm actually probably going to do some training on building an online presence, which is what that is. That is what comes up. It's almost like what your online resume look like. What comes up when somebody actually does a search for you. But as a business owner, I think the more important and more effective and profitable help that Google can give you is not just making sure you look good when somebody knows who you are, but making sure that people find you who may have never even known you existed. And so the difference with that is what that looks like is if someone is looking for someone who does SEO in New Jersey, someone that can help them build out their tech in New Jersey, just someone who can help them build their businesses, right? When somebody puts in, how do I find the right keywords? I want me to come up. They don't know who I am yet. But if I come up with the answer, now let's say me in terms of my website, right? If my website comes up with the answer to that question, then now they're going to get to know me. Even more important, they're going to want to get to know me, right? They're going to be like, oh, I need to know her because she's got the answers to the questions that I have. So that's a lot of times you'll be like, Killer, you said this before, and I have, but I realized that the two have not been meeting when people are starting to think about getting found in search and what getting found in search really means, right? So yes, your goal for Google is not just to be in the number, it is to be the number one, right? It is to be that top ranking, it is to get to that first page, it is to be the result to the questions that people have out there. Very often when I do audits, I'll find people who may have really good things going on in their site. They may even rank for a bunch of keywords, and a lot of the keywords are their name, are the business name, maybe like other spellings of their name. There's 50 billion ways to spell Akilah, apparently, right? They have all of these different things that they're coming up for. And I always have to go back and be like, well, that's nice and all, but that's not necessarily the people that's going to be buying your stuff, right? Or that's not the only people that could be buying your stuff. If somebody comes in and wants to take a class on building a website, then my BAM session that I just told you guys about is perfect for them, right? They don't need to know me. They just need to know that I got a perfect solution for them and I can help them. So those are the things that I want to come up for. I want to come up for those different things that people might be searching for, even if they don't know me. And the more I come up for those things, then the more traffic I'm going to get that I did not originally have. That is one of the big purpose goals of even thinking about SEO on any level. So where it's SEO in Google, TikTok, the idea of SEO really is search engine optimization, but to optimize so that you come out on top for the results of the things that you put out there, right? So where this starts to make a bit of a difference, and what we call that in SEO, more technical language, because someone's gonna be like, what is that even thing? Or you may hear it, you may not even know what the word means, but here it is, I'm gonna break it down for you. That is called ranking, right? So it's one thing to be in, which we'll talk about that, indexing. One thing to be in, it's another thing to rank in. So everyone's at the starting line for the race. It's the winners we know at the end, right? We want to be the winners when it comes to SEO. We want to win a lot of races, right? We don't want to just win for our names or our business names. We want to win for the things we do, the things we share, the products that we have, answering the questions we can answer. We want to be like winners, right? That's where you really start to win with SEO. And then on the other side, which is what I'm finding a lot more people think that they're supposed to do, is indexing. Indexing is Google goes out and looks at every single site on the internet that it can reach, right? And that includes social media, which is what kind of sparked some of this conversation. Some social media, because some social media has it behind certain kind of, let's say, just closed doors, like technically closed doors that they can't see the data. So Facebook is one of them, that not all of your posts are publicly available in search engines. Instagram is pulling away from that a little bit, but they still are one of them. Snapchat is definitely one of them. So there's a couple of platforms that don't necessarily make your stuff readily available, even if it's public on their sites, right? So like Facebook, you can make a post and make it public. That doesn't mean that Google is seeing all of that, right? But for the most part, if you've got a website, you are seen by the search engines, all the search engines, not just Google, Bing, Yahoo, every other search engine that comes up. You're seen by all the search engines. Being seen, like I said, is called indexing, right? So they go out, they crawl all the pages, they gather all the information. Somewhere in the list of billion pages out there in the interwebs, you're on one of them, right? That is being indexed. It sees the information. Now, what it sees and what it ranks are two different things. Now, and they lead into each other. Like, you got to be indexed in order to rank. So, like when we first start a site, my first thing is say, hey, does Google even see you? Right? I do a site search, a site semicolon search. I do go into their search console just to make sure Google even sees you. So you can't get it ranked without being indexed. So they do have some correlation there, right? But it seeing you does not mean you're going to rank well, right? You're going to be in the race, but you're not going to be in that first page. You want to be first, second page for as many things as possible that are relevant to your business. That's the real goal. So you'll be seen, but you may or may not rank. So that's where I think a little bit of the confusion is. So, like with this particular post, we were talking about social helping you in SEO. And if you listen to what I just put down 5 minutes ago or 5 seconds ago, really, you know that now starts to not add up, right? Because first, you want people to come to your site, not necessarily to find a social post about you, right? A social post that may or may not even be on your page or your current page, blah, 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 right? So first, you want people to come to your website. That's where your products and services are. That's where your funnels are. That's where your business is. It's almost like if you were on Main Street and anybody's downtown, you want people to come to your front door. You don't want people to stand on the highway and say, oh, look at that building down there, right? You want people to actually make it to your front door. So that's first, right? Yes, it gets seen by Google, but also, especially for Google, they don't weigh in social content as high as they do website content. I was about to say blog, but really all website content. And a few reasons why. One, usually it's just not long enough. They're looking for 800 to 1,000 words and some real in depth to give somebody an answer. And your average social post, even the longer ones, are 100 to 200 words. If I see somebody with more than 300, I'm like, that should be a blog post. Which I will also put this link in the show notes. I shared a video on the original Facebook post. I shared a video that shows one of the ways that SEO Assist can help you take that 100 words and get it up to 800 words, right? So we do have something called a social to blog post repurpose flow. And that flow is you give it the post, give it like 2 pieces of information with that, and then it turns it into a full blog post. So it's pretty handy, right? I think it's one of the handiest things we launched in 2023, right? So now 2024, y'all can get out there and use it and have a good time with it. But I say all I say is that most times there aren't even enough words on a social post to really make a big ranking difference in Google. Second is that it's also just not formatted like a good blog post. Like, you might start with a personal story, you might just start talking, you probably started this post based on something else. And so it's almost like walking into a middle of a conversation. And so Google doesn't always know all the other things that are around it. It doesn't know what you're about, it doesn't know your site. They don't kind of link your social posts together, other than the fact that, Akilah Thompkins said this. So think of it more, one of the examples I gave somebody was like a quote, right? They can quote you, my alarm, guys. They can quote you, like, if somebody's looking for things Akilah said, they can quote you, but they're not necessarily going to put that down as an answer if somebody's looking for how to find the right keywords or how important are keywords, right? They're not going to put you in for that kind of information. And so there's going to be a disconnect there. There's going to be a disconnect with, this is what people are searching for, this is what's ranking, this is what I have indexed all the way down here. This is what I have indexed in search. So, there gets to be a difference. And so when we're thinking about our content and what we want to put in search and all the other good things, your social posts aren't really what's the thing that's going to help you. Yes, they'll be out there, because then people started, oh, well, I've seen social posts. What were you searching for? If I search for me, I'm probably going to see some of my social posts. And real talk, and I put this on the post as well, that's not always a good thing. If I search for me and the only thing that comes up is stuff that I put on Facebook and Instagram, that means I don't have enough other content out there. And not just on my website. That means I don't have enough stuff on my website. I don't have enough blogs. I haven't been a guest on enough podcasts. I haven't been featured anywhere. Like, really, if the only thing that shows up are the social posts, what are we doing out here? What are we doing, right? You've got nothing that is showing that you're a real business, that you're real expertise, and like really setting the foundation for people going deeper with you. Social is good to get people on that surface, and you want to bring them into your services, your products, your business, right? Like somebody seeing you on Main Street, you don't want them just to see the window. And a lot of times that's the window, especially if it comes up in search with one little quote. That's the window. You need them to come in and see everything that's available, how everything that's available is going to help them. You need them to get deeper, right? This is now a 20-minute video. It's not a social post, right? But I have social posts, right? I like to hang out online, but I am purely hanging out online, not necessarily saying this is the deeper side of me. You get that in my deeper content and my classes and things like that. So think about it that way. Even for those when it does come up, that's probably not all you want to come up for you, right? And that coming up is not the thing that's going to help you get found by other people. So hopefully this episode has been really helpful, knowing the difference between ranking, which is getting found in Google by strangers that come for your stuff, and indexing, which is just being in Google. And for the most part, that's not hard. We're all somewhere as business owners in Google. If you do have a social page, and mostly a page, not your personal page, but like if you got a business page, it's most likely somewhere in the search engines whole list of things, right? If you have a website, even if you don't have anything on it, there's something out there that says, hey, this website exists, and so something's there. So the getting in Google is super easy. And if people are only selling you on getting in Google, then they're selling you real short, because what you really need to do is get found. You really need to have people who are looking for your solution come to you for your products and services. So hopefully it's been super helpful for you guys. If you want to do deeper and learn how to do some of these things, definitely head on over to girlgetvisible.com/classes and check out our upcoming classes. Keep that, like, bookmark it and keep looking, because over the next 12 months, our focus this year with Girl Get Visible and with SEO Assist is helping to educate you guys. So I'm going to be listing the classes I hold. I'll have at least one workshop, not the same one, so don't think, oh, I'll just do that next month, but I have different workshops that will be available at least once a month. I'm going to be, as I always do, events and speaking at various conferences and summits throughout the year, and opening up more opportunities for you guys to get that deeper dig in, learning, hands-on experience, and most importantly, getting it done, because we're all about the implementation, right? So I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye, guys.